this type of vibe you might get back to. Relax, you and your homies puff for 20 sacks. Brothers can blast through an ashtray. The streets to wherever you chill at. Relax your mind at, spend all your time at, recline at. I design raps carefully for your listening pleasure. Whatever's clever's better just so you can vibe with, get live with. I live the life hoping I could survive it, so I rock it till the break of dawn. It's like Bonita Applebone, baby, you gotta put...
Guys, what is up? Welcome to another episode of Maximilian Must Know. Really excited to do this review. This is a house that I've been wanting to experience for a while, and the idea was to get a bottle and see if I'm into investing more. This sort of really straddles what I want to spend on fragrance. There are a few price points for these Roja Dove fragrances. You know, now they tend to start at $350, $400 and go well up over $1,000. And before we talk about the fragrance which I chose, which is Amber Extrait, and how I came to my selection in their outlet site, let's first talk about the house, Roja Dove. Roja Dove was born in England in 1957. He very early in life became obsessed with smelling his mother's perfumes. And for a lot of young men, I think that's often their first olfactory impression in terms of fragrance, either their father's cologne or their mother's perfume. I think that perfume is usually going to be more impressive because your dad might have been okay with Brut or Old Spice or something like the original Polo, which my father wore. Your mother's probably going to wear something more nuanced and deep, like something by, you know, Chanel or Guerlain. So in 1981, Roja Dove joined Guerlain and became their chief nose. He was referred to as the Professeur de Parfum. After 20 years there, he left and started his own perfume training and public relations company called RDPR. His next move was to open his own little perfume shop on the 5th floor of Harrods department store in 2004. Now, the line that we're going to talk about today was obviously started by Roja Dove. And it started as a trilogy in 2007 with 3 fragrances called Enslaved, Unspoken, and Scandal. Each one represented a fragrance family: Oriental, Chypre, and Floral. In 2011, the name was officially changed to Roja Parfum. There are currently over 30 fragrances in the catalog. In New York, you can pick these up in 2 places, Oswald or Bergdorf Goodman. Now, funny thing is, I was really close to wanting to get one of the Extrait scents via the retail route because I knew they were going to be discontinued, and I really liked Vetiver Extrait. But at $400, I don't know or didn't know if I liked it enough. To make a long story short, Roja Dove had for a few weeks towards fall and winter of 2015 an outlet where he mainly had women's scents, candles, and the Extrait scents pretty heavily discounted. They had all the Extraits, and instead of going with Vetiver, because it was colder out, I decided to go with Amber Extrait. Now, the fragrance was only about $150 US, but the problem is that the shipping was another $100. Yo, to me, that's a little ridiculous. Regular shipping from Roja isn't that much. So it's almost like a surcharge. In a sense, aren't as heavily discounted. But I was still able to get this shipped for about $250. Still a good discount. But also, with the expensive shipping, guys, it took over 2 weeks to get to me. It was an annoying experience as a buyer from my perspective. Amber Extrait came out in 2014. The notes on Amber Extrait are bergamot, geranium, lavender, and orange at the top, cacao and rose in the middle, amber, benzoin, cedar, coumarin, labdanum, patchouli, sandalwood, and vanilla in the base. I don't think you can get this one anymore, but it did have the $395 retail for 50 ml. As far as your presentation comes, the bottle is beautiful. You know, it does have that Swarovski crystal cap. You got Roja Parfum, Amber Extrait. The atomizer, you have a batch code on the bottom. The atomizer works as good as any Creed atomizer. I'm trying to just find where, you know, you got that continuous spray. It's a heavy glass bottle. You know, you've got this huge box with Roja's signature, a fragrance by Roja Dove. On the base, you've got all your information. You open it up, and it reveals a nice sitting place in satin for the fragrance. At the top, you have the Roja Parfum. So no complaints on the presentation from me. And then, but I was really, you know, since it was a blind buy, I was really like, how is this fragrance going to be? And I'll be just blunt from the start of this review, or at least this part of the review, and say that this is my favorite amber fragrance of all time, without doubt. Guys, this is insane. It opens with a little bit of bergamot and lavender, and just a touch of geranium, so that it does have a barbershop quality to the opening. I wouldn't say it's a fougere, because for me it's not green enough to qualify as a fougere. You know, it's not a Rive Gauche or an Invasion Barbar, but there is a barbershop smoothness to this one. But what happens is that this seamlessly moves from that vibe to a really upscale and uplifting amber perfume, if you will. And the lavender and geranium start to fade. And for me, what really comes out, guys, is the cacao and orange. You know, there was a place called Russo's on the Bay. I'm sure it's still there on Howard Beach in Queens. Some of you guys might have heard from it. There was a rumor, you know, back in the day that the Gotti family, or the Gambino family, and John Gotti, when he eventually took it over, had huge ownership in Russo's in the Bay. I had a lot of family affairs there, and there was something where any affair I went to, where after dinner they had a dessert bar where you could get any, you know, cognac or liqueur or port in these chocolate shot glasses. And when I was in high school, I had a lot of my grandparents' affairs were there, and I would get, because at the time I was listening to like rappers like Nas and AZ, and they always mentioned Grand Marnier, you know, sipping Grand Marnier in a cafe with OJ, or sipping Grand Marnier and OJ in a cafe had on halfway. I would get Grand Marnier in a shot glass, in the chocolate shot glass, so that orange and the chocolate. And I really do get that sort of chocolate orange liqueur vibe from this, but not in a gourmand way, because what's under this fragrance at the very bottom and is present from the beginning is the smoothest mix of benzoin, sandalwood, and vanilla that I've ever smelled. So this is so much in one. It's part barbershop, part semi-boozy gourmand, part James Bond smooth amber, and the quality of the materials are just off the fucking meat rack. Guys, this scent is insane. Like, it's insane. Here's the thing though, performance is good, but it's not great. And sometimes with this one, I think for the price it needs to hit harder, and then sometimes I think there's something appropriate in its restraint. The problem for me is not so much the longevity. It lasts nicely and it evolves over time, but it really, for me, does not project that well, and the sillage is not that great. This one will work 3 out of 4 seasons. I think it can work in the spring, cooler spring days and evenings, and this is just the fucking shit in the fall and winter. But ideally for me, this is with my Ralph Lauren Purple Label jacket, my Bruno Magli loafers, my Rolex. That's what this is made for. I think it's fine dressed down as well. It does have that wonderful barbershop thing, and it's nice and powdery, but ideally this is a big boy dressed up scent. If I wanted to make comparisons for you, it's tough, guys. It's up there with the best powdery ambers out there. You know, Ambre 114 by Histoire de Parfum, Ambre Procéu by Maître Parfumier Gantier, combined with the barbershop scent and a boozy gourmand. But I haven't smelled anything like this, which is super shitty now that it's been discontinued. If someone were trying to talk you into purchasing this fragrance, I think they'd say that it's amazing scent, it's unique as fuck, it's upscale, cool presentation, and for me, it's one of my favorite fragrances of all time. But I think on the flip side, someone would tell you that the price is stupid, it's hard to find. Are others going to notice this on you? Is the presentation too over the top? Should Roja just relax with the Swarovski crystals and make more affordable scents? He's not dressing up a whore for the VMAs. For me, this is a really hard fragrance to score. Let me first say that this scent has changed my reception of Roja Dove perfume. Now I know I do need to continue to explore this insanely expensive collection. So if anyone has a bunch of samples of his best shit you want to send me, I'll gladly take them. I'll be your best friend forever, and I'll get you samples of the next few collaboration fragrances that I plan on releasing. As far as this fragrance goes, I'm gonna give this one, and this was, guys, this was the toughest fragrance I've ever scored. I'm being very honest when I say that. That's not bullshit. I'm gonna give this one, and at the price point and the fact that it's hard as fuck to find, I'm still gonna give it an 8 out of 10. An 8 out of 10. But here's why I can't go any higher. It is no longer available. It's not a gamer on my skin. It's just not. And that precludes me from giving this one the perfect score that I would like to. I'm in love with the way this fragrance smells. I mean, in love. But for me, this is like the Mets. I'm a big Met fan. Game 5 of the World Series. You know, Matt Harvey, for those of you who follow baseball, pitched that game. He pitched 8 shutout innings. Perfectly. Not perfectly, in a perfect game, but I think he gave us a couple of hits. And then in the 9th, the manager, Terry Collins, was going to take him out. He put the closer, Jeurys Familia, in, and he said, I'm going to take you out. And Matt Harvey said, you can't do that, you know. I think his exact quote was, no way. He wanted to go out and pitch the 9th. And so Terry Collins put Matt Harvey in the 9th, and Matt Harvey proceeded to give up the lead. You know, he didn't actually give up the run that cost the Mets the win, but he gave up the tying run. And to me, this is crazy, but it's sort of the same thing for me. Roja Dove, when he's charging this much, and 400 really isn't even as high as he goes, but he's sort of saying, I want the ball. Give me the ball, right? Give me your money. Give me that $400 price point. I'll deliver. And he does to a degree. Roja wants the attention and the reputation for being the best perfumer in the world. And he's very close. He's very close, I think. And I haven't smelled everything. But for me, for that much money, as far as the price goes, the projection-wise, you got to get there as well. You got to make this project a little bit better. And like Matt Harvey, you got to finish the game. You got to finish the game, and you got to make every aspect of this perfume perfect. And it's close, guys. It's close. But it's just not quite there. But I still love this one. I just want to be very honest with you guys. You know, when I review a fragrance for you guys, I try to be as honest as possible. And my goal is to put, you know, to think like you guys and think what you might have to spend, how you might be able to sample it, and what you might be able to expect. And while this is an amazing fragrance and a beautiful presentation, I think at the price point for me it falls a little bit flat. But as far as just the way that this one smells, it's as good as anything I've ever smelled. And in the amber category, it's my far and away favorite. So guys, that's my absolute honest review. I hope you have enjoyed this one. You know, I knew this was going to be a doozy in terms of length and expectation on my channel. So I hope I've fulfilled that in the best way possible. And of course, I'll see you guys next week with more videos. Guys, you know what it is. My name is Maximilian, and I must know. I'll see you guys again real soon.
You gotta put me on, because I see what you see, but you would never see what I see, cause what I see is too complex for you to find. So you could get with that.